Welcome everyone, meet Max. Poor Max has a curse. He must survive a particularly terrible version of the zombie apocalypse for a full year in order to escape. If he dies, he starts over. The problem? Max is the worst. The guy has nothing redeemable about him, possessing every negative trait, except poor hearing for sound effects reasons. It would be fair to say that things are not off to a great start, so today I, the Cromulent Archer, present the first 10 deaths of Max Loserman. The first life started simply enough in the back room of a restaurant. An alarm quickly went off and the game reminded me exactly what kind of world I was dealing with. Oh god. Failure number 1. Life 2 started in a townhouse in Louisville, but ended quickly when I attempted to cut through a restaurant and the kitchen staff wasn't very happy to see me. In the third life, I finally started out in the country and was able to gather some useful items, including a bad weapon and a Santa coat to keep me warm. The zombie population was still too high though, and I had to keep walking, looking for safety. I had a feeling I was near the Louisville fence, and thought that putting that to one side might help me survive, but before I could reach it, a random force zombie managed to get me. Life number 4 is the first of what I would consider the promising spawns. Max started at a food market near the large mall in Louisville. There was a lot of food available, and the zombies left him alone for a surprisingly long amount of time. The biggest win, however, was the key on a shelf to one of the cars in the parking lot. There was even enough time to dash to the nearby hardware store and grab some construction supplies. The car was fully functional and allowed for a quick escape. Well, that's damn lucky. I drove Max to the wooded area to the east of the mall and attempted to set up shop. The car allowed for a good place to sleep, as Max's claustrophobia didn't allow him to sleep inside of a building. I foraged for supplies and even managed to kill some of the zombies that followed the car down the country road. The problem came with the lack of clean water. I could roll the dice on drinking the water from the river, but was worried that that might lead to poisoning and death. None of the water holding containers I got from the market were able to be burned to sterilize the water. The lack of water pushed me into taking a risk and venturing into the mall. It was actually going okay until I missed the turn to go up the escalator and got trapped in a corner. Sorry, Max. For Life 5, we spawned at a pretty safe part of Riverside. The house was looted, most importantly finding clothes to keep us warm. One of the cars in the driveway had a key and some gas in it. I probably should have tried to stay put for a few days, but I was feeling uneasy being so close to town, so I attempted to drive out of town to a country house. This turned out to be a mistake as the car ran out of gas, and I was forced to death march through the night to try and find safety. Safety was not to be found, however, as zombies found me first, cold, tired, and without stamina. On Life 6, I spawned at a bar in the beating heart of Louisville's downtown. The loot in the bar was solid, but the hordes quickly forced me out into the street, where I promptly died. Life 7 was back on the eastern side of Louisville, so I decided to try and copy Life 4, but I had no car this time, so no good place to sleep. I even took Max out past the proper edge of the map to the Underdeveloped fort, but the zombie population, to my surprise there, turned out to be a problem. I was forced to sleep on the ground, which combined with my restless sleeper and sleepyhead traits made it virtually impossible to get enough rest to get back to fighting form. I thought a fire could help, but it turns out that despite being able to make the notched plank without real tools, you can't make the sturdy sticks you need to actually start a fire. Desperation drove me back in towards civilization, and death found me on the way. Life 8 was a true tragedy in my book. It started strong, with a starting location that I eventually figured out was a ways outside of West Point. The area was quiet, and the resources actually pretty solid. There were warm clothes, some basic weapons and tools, and a car in the driveway I could sleep in. If I had found some gas, it would have been drivable as the key was there. The car even had a duffel bag, the first actual bag I had found in any life so far. The excitement of the duffel bag was overshadowed quickly, however, when I found a former survivor zombie wearing a military backpack. Between the survivor zombie and several raider zombies nearby, it was actually pretty well geared. The car turned out to not quite be warm enough for me, however, and Max developed a cold. I went overland northward towards a set of houses around a pond I knew to be there, dodging zombies along the way. In the first cabin I came to, I found a tent kit and some fishing supplies. I probably let myself get a bit too excited by this and began to set up my camp. I was exhausted and my stamina was spent when several zombies showed up. Despite my attempts to get away, Max became zombie chow. It was going so well too. Life 9 found us on the second floor of an apartment building along the river in Louisville. I looted what I could from the apartment on the starting floor and the one above it, but I could hear the zombies getting more and more noisy below. Escaping the apartment, I went east towards the mall again. Well, still have a few zombies with me. Just a couple. My frustration with things was starting to boil over by this one, so I went for the bold plan of trying to reach the upper levels of the mall. It didn't work, and poor Max got swarmed before he made it to the stairs. Let's do something dumb. That was fast. I ran out of stamina and couldn't move quickly. Life 10 was a short one. I again found myself in an apartment in Louisville, although I was never really sure of the exact location. I looted and ran for it, but couldn't find my way past the hordes. Oh, those gaps are closing. Those gaps are closing, and there it is. Yeah. So poor Max Loserman has now met his end 10 times, but victory is just another life away. Me and Max will keep working on getting him through this one painful year, and turn this zero into a hero before it's all over. Thanks to my patrons, who are always my heroes, never my zeros. I am, as always, the Cromulent Archer. Thanks for joining me.